What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and today's video is all about farming for XP, as I get a lot of questions from new and returning players, wondering not only what are some of the most efficient ways to farm for XP in the game, but what are some of my favorites. Therefore, I wanted to take a few minutes and show you some of those today. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you can hit that like button as well. And remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series S. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on April 4th of this year. So one thing I want to make sure I mention as I start this video off is this is truly for new and returning players. I put out a video like this once every month or two to make sure that everyone knows all of these methods are still viable, and like I said, in my opinion, some of the best ways to farm for XP in a short amount of time. There happen to be a lot of different things I want to touch base on in this video, but first and foremost, I want to show you the different areas I like to farm, starting off with territory controls. Now, this one on the map happens to be my favorite, and we'll go over some other options at the end, but this specific location happens to be the best because you have a fast travel point right next to it. Now, sometimes it's on the map, sometimes it isn't. Again, we'll get into that later in the video, but you'll see here in the footage that from the moment I land at the spot to the moment this area is cleared, it takes about 30 seconds. And in that 30 seconds time, I'm netting over 200,000 XP. Now, I want to point out that I'm doing this on challenging with 3 directives just to give you a baseline of the type of XP you can earn. And again, I'm using the spot because I know the timing of the NPC. They spawn in the exact same location. I already have this thing figured out, so you can be incredibly efficient and gain a ton of XP in a short amount of time. Now, one of the main reasons I'm such a big fan of these territory controls is because they're stationary. You know, they're not moving on the map like an elite patrol or a convoy or things like that. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, as you can see, the territory control is no longer there. All I'm going to do is reset the control points, which in turn will automatically send me to the nearest safe house. And once I get there, I'm going to open up my map and see if that territory control is there. If it is, I'm going to farm it over and over and over again. If it's not there, I will try resetting those control points 2 or 3 more times, but if nothing happens, I'm going to move on to a different territory control, and as I said at the beginning of this, I will show you a few more options at the end of the video. Next, my friends, we have resource convoys. Now, these are going to give you the same amount of XP that you would earn doing a territory control. However, you're going to see from this footage, where the resource convoy is located on the map, when you engage with them will dictate where the next wave of NPCs actually come from. So you'll see here, once I clear these guys, I'm going to have to run up the stairs. So there happens to be a little more travel time. We're talking seconds, nothing major, but once you get up there and you know the timing of where they could possibly, come out of, it's fish in a barrel. You're lighting them up. You can see I take these 2 out, then just keep my aim towards that door because I know that's where the waves are going to continue to come from. And once it's clear, again, you're gaining over 200,000 XP. Now, for those of you wondering why I'm saying over 200,000 XP when it says 197,000 and some odd, it's because when you take out NPCs, you're going to gain XP from clearing them as well. Now moving on to another one of my favorite methods. These are elite patrols, and as you can see here, if you time it right to your fast travel point, you're going to encounter these within seconds, and you're going to get 260,000 XP for clearing one of these. Now, unfortunately, these don't respawn over and over again like the territory controls do when you reset your control points. They can pop up in any area on the map. They seem to be on sort of a timer. And my friends, I've tried so many different ways to figure out this pattern, to crack the code, and I've tried logging out, then back in, and then, resetting the control points. They seem to be on maybe a 30-minute timer. That doesn't dictate where they're going to actually drop on the map. So if you have any tips, again, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now, one of the best things about this game is that there are no shortages of ways to farm for XP. You have control points, you have missions, you have obviously the different difficulties. Now, the reason I recommend doing these world activities is because you can really get through them quickly. And for people who don't have a lot of time to play, you want to farm for XP as quick as you can to level up that shade level or get more scavenging points. We're going to get into that in a second. This is a great way to do so. Now, as I promised earlier, I want to show you a few different options of great territory controls I hit up. You saw the first one. There's another one right here in the southwest, and as we move over, there's another one I hit up pretty frequently in West Potomac Park. Now, the reason I like these 3 is because there is a fast travel location close to those areas, and not only that, one of these 3 happens to be on the map all the time. So if you can't find one, you can reset your control points, find the other, and ideally you are farming this thing over and over again. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the main focus of this video is about farming XP. It's not about loot quality, things like that. Now, one thing I want to point out is you can see here, if you were to do Lincoln Memorial on heroic difficulty with 3 directives, you're going to get 641,000 XP as your base. However, one thing you want to make sure you take into consideration is how long it actually takes you to clear a mission with 3 directives on heroic. So for me, let's say if I have my run and gun build and because I know, Lincoln Memorial well, it will probably take me on average about 10 minutes to clear the thing unless things get sideways and then who knows what. But if I am doing those territory controls on challenging with 3 directives, in that 10 minutes I can do that at least 4 times, which will net me a minimum of 800,000 XP. Therefore, I do not need to worry about my character dying, starting over, and I know on challenging I can definitely get it done. Now, one of the other benefits is during this time when you're doing all this farming, you're going to be getting a ton of loot. Now, let's say if you're doing it on challenging, the loot quality will not be as high if it was on heroic, but you can take that loot, break it down. You can see here you're getting a ton of resources in return. And always remember, for every shade level that you gain, you're also getting a field proficiency cache, which seem to have higher quality items in there. Now, for those of you who are just farming shade levels to get to 1,000, this should hopefully help you get there faster because it's all about time management. And as you saw with the example, there happen to be times where it's very beneficial to drop that difficulty and truly focus on whatever it is you're trying to attain in the game. Now, as always, if you have any tips or tricks you want to pass along, ways you like to farm for XP, again, remember, my friends, this is not for people who can do heroic content in like 2 minutes. It's not about that. These are for newer players. So definitely keep that in mind as you give, your comments, suggestions, things like that down below, because as most of you know by now, the main goal at the channel is to try to help gamers out in any way we can, so any information you can pass along, I would definitely appreciate it. And as I start to wrap this video up, one question I'd like to answer that I get from a lot of new players is, what is the point of getting past shade level 1000? Because once you've gotten to that point, you've spec'd into your watch entirely, you've gotten all the offensive, defensive, handling, utility bonuses, stuff like that. And the reason you want to do that is at the bottom here, you can see scavenging, and that really comes in handy. Now, as most of you know, in this game, you can optimize and recalibrate your weapons and gear. Now, that is incredibly expensive to do. That's why I only have like 3 scavenging points right now. I just went on a rampage trying to upgrade stuff. But anyway, once you get to shade level 1000, every time you gain a level after that, you're going to get one of those scavenging points. And trust me when I say it is really going to help you out, especially as you're trying to strengthen your character. With all that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this up. However, as always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for the incredible support you've shown me at this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please let me know in the comment section down below. At this point, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you can hit that like button, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.